After watching this video, you will be able to do these 3 things. 1. You will be able to define genre. 2. You will be able to list the 4 kinds of fictional genres. And 3. You will have a better understanding of the qualities for each fictional genre. In literature, a genre refers to pieces of writing that are similar in form, style, or subject matter. Is there an easier way to explain genre? Of course there is. Pieces of writing, like books and articles, can be separated into different groups based on the way they are written and what they are written about. These groups are called genres. Here's another way to help remember the meaning of genre. Picture how the school library is organized. Graphic novels are all together, poetry books are all together, and books about natural disasters are also all together. So are you saying that genre tells a reader what type of book a book is? Yes, that is what genre is. It is the type or category of a book. So, how many fictional genres are there? There are 4 types of fictional genres. The first is fantasy, the second is science fiction, the third is historical fiction, and the fourth is realistic fiction. Books that belong to the fantasy genre have characters with superpowers or magical powers, have characters that could not exist in real life, like talking animals. These books are stories that could not possibly happen in real life. This could be a scene written about in a fantasy novel because this character has superhuman strength. This is impossible, so it is a fantasy. Fantasy books contain things that cannot happen in real life. Is one of your fantasies to have X-ray vision? Now, let's take a closer look at the genre of science fiction. Science fiction books contain one or more of these traits. The situation or problem in the story is possible in the future. The characters can include aliens or zombies. The story contains technology that may exist in the future. In this science fiction scene, Mrs. Johnson is saving the world from an alien attack. Science fiction books may also contain a battle between a robot that could exist in the future. Science fiction books usually have a story that takes place in the future. The situation in the story could possibly happen in real life. The story usually contains advanced technology like robots or spaceships. The Hunger Games is an example of a science fiction novel. The science fiction recap. The setting of the story is in the future. The story has advanced technology in it. The events of the story could happen in the future. The characters are all people, animals, or machines that could exist in the future. Now, let's take a look at the genre historical fiction. Historical fiction books contain events that could have happened in the past. If you read a book about an explorer discovering land, That is historical fiction. If you read a book about a famous moment in United States history from a character's viewpoint as if they were there, then the book is historical fiction. If you read a book based on a famous crime that happened in the past, then your book is historical fiction. Historical fiction books have events in them that happened in the past. Now, let's take a look at the genre of realistic fiction. Realistic fiction means the events of a story could happen in the present day. Here is a short list of events that could occur in a realistic fiction book. A character wants to be popular in school. A character has to handle a divorce or moving to a new place. A character gets kidnapped. This scene could be written about in a realistic fiction book about a girl buying a teddy bear at a market. This scene could be written about in a realistic fiction book about a boy having to go to the movies by himself because he got dumped by his bae. This scene could be written about in a realistic fiction novel about a character's trip to India or to a fancy restaurant. This could be a scene written about in a realistic fiction novel because characters could go camping or get lost in the woods. Here's the realistic fiction recap. The events in the story could happen in real life. The characters are people who could actually exist. The story is very easy to believe because all of the parts of it are realistic. That's it. These are the 4 fictional genres: fantasy, science fiction, historical fiction, and realistic fiction.